we're going to look at page 59 in our portfolios. So pause here if you need to locate your portfolio. Hopefully you have it out because you just watched the other video. We're going to make a change to this equation. We are going to, instead of having a negative x plus 2 quantity squared plus 4, we are going to take away that negative. We're going to think of that just as a positive. So you can cross it out or make it a plus. So our x values we're going to leave here. Our y values we're going to think of as x plus 2, that quantity squared, plus 4. That's what we're going to substitute in. That is our y value. So everywhere we see an x, we are going to replace it with the x that's in this first column to simplify for our y value. So make sure that you have the correct expression that you're working with today so that that your paper matches my paper. So our first expression is x plus 2, and we're going to put negative 4 in for x, so that'll be negative 4 plus 2. That quantity is being squared, and then we're going to add 4 to that. So order of operations says to do any grouping symbols are parentheses first, and inside our parentheses is negative 4 plus 2. And so if you think of that, if you need to look at a number line or if you're working on your calculator, but we have here, you're at negative 4 and you're adding 2. So that means you're going toward the right if you're adding. If I'm adding 2 units, I'm going to go 2 blocks, which puts me here at negative 2. So that's like adding 2 when you go 2 to the right. So negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. That value is being squared. Negative 2 squared plus 4. Remember, negative 2 is the same, squared is like negative 2 times negative 2. So if it is helpful for you to write that out, and then negative times negative is a positive. So negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. That is being added still to this 4 that I have right here. So 4 plus 4 gives me 8. So my first ordered pair is when x is negative 4, my y value is 8. So if I go over here, left 4 and up 8. So left 4, up 8 is going to give me a point right there. I want to make a note to be careful when you're plugging this into a calculator, because when you plug in negative 2 and square it, which the little caret button right here can be the square, I like to use parentheses to make sure. So I could put in negative 2 squared, or the caret and then 2, and that's going to give me 4. If I just put in negative 2 squared, it's going to give me negative 4 because it doesn't know that I want to square negative 2. It might think I want to take the opposite of 2 squared. So that's just a little side note to make sure that you are squaring that quantity that you simplified to negative 2. So that's negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. Now, when I plug in negative 3, you're going to do the same process. Looking back up here, the x plus 2, that quantity squared, plus 4. So this is going to be negative 3 plus 2, quantity squared, plus 4. And again, you can think of this on a number line. If I'm at negative 3 and I'm adding 2, that means I need to go to the right 2 units, which puts me here at negative 1. And I'm squaring negative 1 plus 4. So negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. And my ordered pair, when x is negative 3, my y value is 5. And if we plot that at negative 3, We're up at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to keep working through this table. You could pause here and try these remaining 3 on your own. And then I will put a check here in just a minute. For those of you that want to watch it work out, you can watch me go through it right now. Those of you that feel like you have it, you can skip ahead a minute and just check your answers. -2 plus 2. Again, if you want to look at your number line, -2 here. If I'm adding 2 to that, that means I'm going to go to the right 2 units, which puts me at 0. That makes sense because -2 and 2 are opposites, so they make 0. So now I have 0 squared plus 4. Well, 0 times 0 is still 0. Then we add 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. So my ordered pair is -2, 4. Here I have -1 plus 2. And if I'm looking at my number line, -1 plus 2 is to the right 2. That's going to be -1. I'm sorry, that's going to be +1. -1 plus 2 puts me right here at +1. And +1 squared. And you can continue using your parentheses around there. When it's not negative, you don't have to be as careful with that because it's not going to affect your answer. So 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1, plus our 4 over here. 1 plus 4 is 5. So when x is -1, y is 5. And I'll go back and plot those in just a minute. Finally, when we plugged in 0 for x, 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 squared plus 4, recopy our line. 2 squared is the same thing as 2 times 2, which is 4. Plus the 4 we have over here is 8. So this ordered pair, when x is 0, y is 8. Let's go ahead and plot these over here. When you have 2 points, it could be a line. We don't know what it is with 2 points, but if we plot our third point at -2, I should be at 4. It doesn't look as much like a line anymore. We have a different change between those. And then I'm going to plot -1, 5, and it goes back up. So we're starting to see our change in direction right there. And then last in our table at 0, we're back here at 8. And this is an example of a quadratic function. And if we were looking at our table, we could do second differences here and see that our values would come out to be the same if we looked at our second differences. And we would see that our turning point happened here at -2. So this right here is our turning point. We can see it in our graph right here. That turning point is also called a vertex. And when you plot these, remember that a quadratic function has a U-shaped graph, so it can be tempting to use segments to connect those, but you don't want to. You want a nice, smooth U-shaped curve, so there should be no points when you sketch that out. So it should be a nice U-shaped curve. If you look on page 64, there is another practice problem for you to do on your own.